Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to the introduction spoiler video for multiplayer game number 55. This short video will compose of two parts. In the first part I will introduce the game, players and settings, and in the second part I will do a short summary of the game. So if you do not want to know how the game went, stop watching after the initial introduction and go to the second position of the playlist. So this time I'm playing a 6-player free-for-all no quitters game. No quitters is a Steam group that gathers people who just want to play Civ without people quitting on them. You can find the link to the group profile on my main channel page in the About section. Just join the chat, read the rules and ask a moderator for an invite. Together in this game we've got Mr. Panang, Baron Big Boy, Enki16, Son of Birds, and Tony the Bum. And I rolled Poland. Okay, so one more time, spoiler alert, if you do not want to know how the game went, stop watching right now and go to the second position of the playlist where the actual game starts. So I decided, well, first of all, Enki rolled Shoshone, Baron Big Boy was playing Sweden, Tony the Bomb Rome, Mr. Panang USA, and Sound of Birds rolled Korea. Now, Enki had a very nice start, quite a lot of ruins. He had a city pretty early on, and on top of that, the second city was with Mount Kailash. I decided to aim for a cultural victory. I was experimenting a little bit with that, so I tried to do it in a free-for-all game. I went for a tradition into Stonehenge and was planning to plant at least 3 or 4 more cities and then go National College and focus on tourism as much as possible. Though it looked like I was a little bit in the middle of the map. I had Enki in south, pretty close to me, and Sweden and USA very close on the west side. So probably aiming for a cultural victory was not a good idea, but I was definitely hoping that Poland's unique ability will allow me to do 2 things at once, which means have a good science and in the same time do nice tourism. I have to admit I was pretty lucky with the start. Well, pretty lucky. I was lucky with the workers. I went into 3 cities first, International College. Well, basically I was planning to plan for 5 cities, but I went for 3 cities first just to control the land in between the city-states and have some sort of a defensive position against America and Sweden. In the meantime, Enki basically settled on top of me. I think he did it blindly, but that kind of was a problematic piece well, that was problematic just because I was planning absolutely go peaceful, and he having a city so close to me would be very problematic in the mid game, late game, or even very late game. But well, I decided to risk it. I was really hoping that I can, with Poland's unique ability, catch up. I mean, like as I said, do 2 things: do tourism and do science at the same time, and try to catch up to Shumi's great start and his 4-city tradition science focused game. So I went 3 cities first, National College, settled around the way to the 4th spot, and later on adding a 5th city. I was doing pretty good. I would even say I was doing very well. I had my 5 cities. Pretty nice land. I was leading in science, I was leading in production at this point of the game. I managed to get the crucial wonders, at least I was starting to get the crucial wonders, which means I had Leaning Tower of Pisa. I managed to get Globe Theatre, of course, for a cost of a great engineer, 2 great engineers of course, which increase my points into great scientist. But I think in a free-for-all environment it's kind of needed. Of course it slows down your science later on, but this is the way how you approach, I think, how you approach cultural victory. I think you really need that great engineer for Tower of Pisa, then great engineer for Globe Theatre, and preferably a great engineer or even 2 for Eiffel Tower and Broadway. Basically that means you miss out 3 to 4 great scientists in the course of the game, which is of course pretty problematic if you have only science focused civ nearby. And basically this is what happened to me. Shumi was really going crazy with population and science, and he slowly, he caught up and he actually surpassed me at this point in science. So that was a warning post that I could be in pretty much a lot of trouble later in the game. But I was still hoping that thanks to Poland, I was able to get rationalism and aesthetics at the same time, and I was really hoping that I can still be at the same science as Shumi and be able to defend later on. So problems started to rise, though I did manage to get wonders like Eiffel Tower and Broadway. Shumi basically was starting to destroy me in economy. He had so much more population in his cities than me. He had a very large amount of gold income and crazy science and better production and a lot of city-state allies. So basically I was really, well, we kind of had a deal with Mr. Panang that we would not fight until Shumi is out of this map, but sadly Sweden decided to kill America and I lost my ally, and Shumi, well, Tony the Bomb killed Korea later, earlier on, but he was so far behind in science he was not really a threat to Shumi. So basically it was me against him, and I focused a lot of production hammers into tourism. So I was slowly falling behind in science and economy, and that was very obvious in demographics. And on top of that, I did miss those great scientists. So situation started to look pretty not good. And so now it was time to pay for the strategy that I took. Basically, Sweden was almost finishing off America. Tony the Bomb was not able to do much, and Shumi was basically, he beat me to Hubble telescope. I was so far behind, I had almost no chance to actually threaten him with the Hubble telescope. I had to burn the great scientist just to get to some good technologies earlier on, and at this stage of the game I really did miss all those great scientists. On top of that, I invested a lot of hammers into archaeologists. I was starving for gold. So what Shumi did, he basically rushed to Hubble telescope. He built up a lot of artilleries and mobile, anti-aircraft guns, saved up a lot of gold, bought all the city-state that he could, and he was planning to declare war and attack me with mobile SAMs and rocket artillery in this super great moment when I was pretty much vulnerable, because I was so much focused on getting as much artifacts as fast as possible. So great timing on Shumi's side, and of course great science, great population. I did mistake. I need to learn that actually freedom is so much better if you have only 4 or 5 cities than order is. Basically the most important part is the food. You, with so little space, you just lack the food, and freedom basically doubles the food from the specialist. Basically well, it cuts the food in half, so you can really have much more population with a city that has pretty much not that much food. So I need to learn that my population was dramatically low compared to Shumi. Same was the science output versus Shumi. So basically I was out-tech, out-produced, and out-maneuvered at this stage of the game, and it looked like I will be wiped out of the map very, very quickly. I was really trying to defend, but I had a feeling that Shumi is basically playing with me. He was not using all his forces. If he used all his forces on me, he would probably kill me much quicker, but he used just enough to pillage all my land and, well, basically put me out of the game. In the meantime, he defended against Tony the Bomb. He defended against KDJD. They couldn't do much. Well, Tony was basically behind in tech pretty much, and then Shumi decided to use nuclear weapons, and with nukes it was basically over. He took Sweden's capital, then he took mine right before National Visitor Center and Internet. So culture attempt number 1 did fail miserably. Though I had a great civ, but overall I think I played not that good. I could have played much better. First of all, I should have tried and kill Shumi City that was close on me. In the mid game, I had a great advantage, great hammer science advantage, and I think I could have killed Shumi City pretty confident I can do that. I wouldn't have to actually kill all Shumi cities. I just needed to take this city in close to me, which was a very great mistake, number 1. Mistake number 2 was the social policy choices. I should have went into some other tree, either liberty, either patronage, or even honor. Any tree. I used up a lot of social policy into order, which didn't do much good for me, and of course freedom would be probably, in my opinion, after this game, would be much better choice population wise. So couple of mistakes, quite a lot of mistakes, which eventually cost me this game, but I learned a lot, and as usual I enjoyed the game a lot. So thank you for the game, everyone. GG. And I invite you to watch the actual game that starts on the 2nd position of the playlist. So best wishes. Yoruus out.